Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see how to create a VPC inside the AWS service and how to create a public and private subnet within our VPC, and also we are going to see how to create an internet gateway that connects our public subnet to the internet. Before getting to that, let us see what's VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud that lets us launch our AWS services in a logically isolated virtual network. We also have some private things in our application like database and application server, etc. that should not be visible to our users, and these can be stored in this private subnet, and the things which should be visible to users are stored in this public subnet. And this VPC helps us to control our virtual networking environment by letting us choose our IP address range and letting us create our own subnets and configure route table for that and etc. Let's do that. For that, first sign in to the AWS Management Console and here search for VPC, which will be under Networking and Content Delivery section. Press this. You'll reach this page now. In this page, click your VPCs. Here you can see an existing VPC here. This might be a default VPC. To create a new one, press Create VPC and give some details about that. First, specify its name. And give an IPv4 range for this. I am giving that as 10.0.0.0/16 and I am leaving that CIDR block and tenancy as default and press Create VPC. Now we can see that our VPC is created successfully. Now we have to attach an internet gateway to this VPC to enable connection between the instances inside our VPC to the internet. So I am going to create a new internet gateway and give it a name. And press Create Internet Gateway. Now you can see that the status of our created internet gateway is detached. We have to connect this to our created VPC. So under Actions, click Attach to VPC. In this, select our created VPC and click Attach Internet Gateway. Now we can see that the status have changed to attached. So now we can create a subnet inside our VPC. So press Subnet. In this, we should create a public subnet and private subnet so that we can store our private things inside our private subnets. I am going to create two subnets here and give its VPC as our created one and name it as public subnet. You can select your availability zone as your preference, else AWS will do that. And now give the IP address. I am giving this as 10.0.1.0/24 and press Create Subnet. Now our public subnet is created successfully. I am going to create another subnet as a private one. Select the VPC and give it a name. And give its IP range too. I am making it as 10.0.2.0/24. and press create subnet. So our public and private subnets are created inside our VPC, my new VPC. And now let's create route tables for both of these public and private subnet. Whenever we create a VPC, a route table will be created automatically, and that's this one. So we can directly name this as public route, and we can use this. If you don't want this, you can create a new route table too, and our public route table is created. So next we have to create a private route table. For that, create a route table and give it a name as private route table, and choose the VPC as the created one and give create. So we get the message that the route table was created. Now you can see both of the public and private route tables created. Now we have to secure our VPC. For that, under security we have two options: network ACLs and security groups, where network ACLs is a security in the network level and security groups is a security in the instances level. We are going to create security groups here. So we have a default security group created when we created the VPC, and let's edit its name as security group and save. So now we have inbound rules and outbound rules in that, where inbound rules is the rules followed whenever the traffic comes from outside needs to reach to our instance, and outbound rules are something that is followed when our instance is communicating with the outer traffic. So let's edit this in inbound rules and give edit inbound rules. Here give add rule. So let us select all traffic so that traffic from any ports like port 80 or anything can communicate with our EC2 instance, and I am giving the source as my IP so that my IP can control the instances. And let me save rules. So our inbound rules are edited as we have given, and now let's create an NACL too. Click NACL and it will also be created by default. Let's edit that name and save that. Inside inbound rules, give edit inbound rules. Here they are allowing all traffic to come in to communicate with our EC2 instance. Now we have to change this to our IP address so that it will be safe, and save changes. Now our VPC is secured. So after this, we have to launch our instances inside our private and public subnets. We can also launch our S3 buckets and elastic block storages, etc. So for that, under services, go to EC2 instance. Give launch instance. Let's go with free tier only and choose the OS which you want. Okay, let me continue with this. Okay, now we have to select our VPC which we have created, and let's select our public subnet. Since we are going to add this EC2 instance under our public subnet, and I'm going to enable this auto assign public IP, and let's leave others as default and give add storage, and we can name it as and give configure security group. So let me add a select an existing security group. Since we have already created a security group, we can use that and give a review and launch. Press launch, create a new key pair, and download key pair. So give launch instances. And now you can see that our instance is running. Let me name this as AC2 public instance and save. So let me create another instance to include in our private subnet, and let me select this. Let's go with this, and now we have to select our private subnet, and let me enable this and give next, and I'm selecting an existing security group here too. Give review and launch, and launch. Let me do this with an existing key pair and give launch instances. Okay, now let me name this as EC2 private instance, and it's also running now. And let's check whether these are working, and can we ping these instances using command prompt. So give ping, and let's copy our public IPv4 address and paste here. Yes, the EC2 instance inside my public subnet is replying me, and let's try to ping the private one. For that, let's copy our IP address of this private subnet and copy here. So we cannot ping this since it's a private subnet, and that's all about creating VPC and launching our instances inside public and private subnets of our VPC. Hope you understood this. Thank you.